Welcome to the European Association for Higher Education Advancement's YouTube and podcast channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive
Okay.
into the world of collaborative and cooperative learning.
Right.
You know those buzzwords we hear all the time in education.
Yeah.
But are they really just fancy terms for group work, or is there something deeper going on?
Well, what's fascinating is that these approaches tap into some fundamental theories about how we learn. Think back to Piaget, who believed that knowledge is constructed through interaction with the environment. Both collaborative and cooperative learning put that idea into action, don't they?
That's a great point. Instead of passively absorbing information, students are actively building understanding through their interactions with each other.
Right.
Okay, so let's get specific.
Okay.
How does the EAEA article actually define these approaches?
Well, they describe collaborative learning as a process where students work together as a team
Okay.
to explore a topic and construct knowledge jointly.
Wow.
It's like a shared journey of discovery, where everyone's insights contribute to a richer understanding.
So it's not just about dividing up tasks and each doing your own thing.
Right.
It's about a true synergy of ideas.
Exactly. And this is where cooperative learning comes in with a slightly different focus.
Okay.
Here, while students work in groups, they're also held individually accountable for their contributions and ultimately responsible for their own learning.
So it's like a team sport where everyone plays a role, but you still need to bring your A game individually.
That's a great analogy. And this distinction is key to understanding when one approach might be more effective than the other,
Yeah.
depending on the learning objectives.
This is already making me rethink how I approach group work in my own teaching. Yeah. But before we get into those nitty-gritty comparisons,
Okay.
let's explore what these approaches have in common.
Sure.
The EAEE article highlights some pretty compelling benefits, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. One that immediately jumps out is the power of diverse perspectives. Think about it. In any group of students, you have a wealth of backgrounds and experiences.
Right.
Collaborative and cooperative learning create a space for those voices to be heard
Yeah.
and integrated into the learning process.
And I imagine that leads to a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of the subject matter, right?
Precisely. It's like taking a multifaceted approach to problem solving. When students from different walks of life come together,
Yeah.
they bring unique insights and approaches that enrich the learning experience for everyone involved.
The article also mentions the impact of shared goals, which I found really intriguing.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that when students are working towards a common objective, it creates a sense of unity and purpose.
Yeah.
It's no longer about individual competition, but about collective success.
Right.
And that can be incredibly motivating, especially for students who might struggle in more traditional learning environments. And let's not forget the communication skills that are honed through these approaches.
Right.
Think about it. To collaborate effectively. Yeah.
Students need to articulate their ideas clearly, listen actively to their peers, and engage in constructive dialogue. These are essential skills for success in any field,
Yeah.
not just in academics.
It's like building those soft skills that employers are always looking for, right?
Exactly.
Teamwork, communication, problem solving,
Right.
they're all baked into these learning models.
Exactly. And speaking of problem solving,
Yeah.
the EAA article also highlights how both collaborative and cooperative learning encourage students to become more independent decision makers. They're constantly faced with choices within their groups,
Right.
and they learn to navigate those choices, weigh the potential outcomes, and take ownership of their decisions.
It's like a safe space to practice those critical thinking skills that are so crucial for success in the real world.
I
You're
know.
not just following instructions, you're
Yeah.
actively shaping the learning process.
Precisely. And this leads to another key benefit,
Okay.
enhanced feedback.
In these settings, students receive feedback not only from the instructor, but also from their peers. It's a multi-dimensional perspective that helps them refine their understanding and identify areas for growth.
I remember those group projects in college where I got feedback from my classmates
Yeah.
that was way more insightful than anything the professor could have told me.
Right.
It's like getting a 360-degree view of your own work.
Exactly. And this brings us to a point that often gets overlooked.
Okay.
Efficiency. By dividing tasks strategically and working collaboratively, students can often accomplish more in less time,
Right.
allowing for a deeper dive into the subject matter.
It's like that saying, 2 heads are better than 1.
Right.
But in this case, it's a whole team of heads working together. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious about how these approaches might look different in practice.
Okay.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Absolutely. Let's say you're teaching a history class and you want students to explore the causes of the French Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
In a collaborative setting, you might divide the class into groups
Right.
and assign each group a specific factor to research,
Okay.
such as economic inequality, political instability, or the influence of Enlightenment ideas.
Mm.
They would then come together to present their findings to the class,
Okay.
weaving together a comprehensive narrative of the revolution's origins.
It's like creating a historical tapestry, with each group contributing a unique thread to the overall design.
That's a great way to put it. Now, in a cooperative setting,
Okay.
you might still have students researching those same factors,
Okay.
but instead of presenting as a group,
Right.
each student would be responsible for writing an individual essay on their assigned topic,
Mm.
demonstrating their understanding of how that factor contributed to the revolution.
So they're still benefiting from the shared research and discussion,
Right.
but ultimately they're accountable for their own individual analysis and synthesis of the material.
Precisely. And this distinction highlights a key takeaway from the EAEE article.
Okay.
The importance of aligning the chosen approach with the specific learning objectives of the course.
Mm.
If the goal is to foster deep collaboration and the creation of a shared product, then collaborative learning might be the way to go.
Mm.
But if the focus is on individual accountability and the development of independent critical thinking skills, then cooperative learning could be a more effective strategy.
This is also practical.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about how I can tweak my lesson plans to incorporate these insights.
And the beauty of these approaches is that they're incredibly versatile.
Right.
You can adapt them to any subject matter, any grade level, and any learning environment.
It's not just about classrooms either, right?
Yeah.
I can see how these principles could be applied in workplaces, community organizations, even families.
Exactly.
It's about fostering a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility, no matter the context.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this conversation so relevant. We're not just talking about pedagogical theory. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we approach learning and problem solving in all aspects of our lives.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface here. There's so much to unpack when it comes to collaborative and cooperative learning.
What's truly exciting is that these approaches aren't just trends.
Right.
They represent a fundamental shift in how we think about education.
Hmm.
It's a move away from the traditional model of the teacher as the sole source of knowledge and towards a more student-centered approach,
Yeah.
where learning becomes a shared journey of discovery.
And that's a journey that can be so much richer and more rewarding when we travel together, right?
Precisely. By embracing collaboration and cooperation, we tap into the collective wisdom and creativity of our students. We empower them to become active agents in their own learning, to challenge assumptions, to debate ideas, and to construct knowledge in a way that's both meaningful and lasting.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what are the key takeaways you hope our listeners will walk away with?
First and foremost, I hope they'll recognize that collaborative and cooperative learning are not just fancy terms for group work.
Right.
These approaches are rooted in sound pedagogical theory and have been shown to enhance student engagement, critical thinking, communication skills, and overall academic achievement.
And they're not just limited to the classroom either.
Right.
The principles we've discussed today can be applied in any setting where people are working together towards a common goal.
Exactly. Whether you're an educator looking to revitalize your teaching methods, a manager seeking to improve team dynamics, or simply someone who's passionate about lifelong learning, I encourage you to explore the power of collaboration and cooperation.
It's about fostering a culture of shared responsibility, open communication, and mutual respect.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we can achieve so much more when we work together than we ever could alone.
And that's a message worth spreading, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to our listeners, I challenge you to take what you've learned today and put it into practice. Start a study group. Propose a team project volunteer for a community initiative.
Right.
The possibilities are endless.
And remember, the European Association for Higher Education Advancement is here to support you on your journey.
Yes.
Be sure to check out their website and social media channels for more resources and inspiration.
Please don't forget to follow the European Association for Higher Education Advancement on YouTube and social media.